People are getting off the diet soda. I've talked about aspartame a lot. People have had it. You know, it's a $61 billion industry, the diet soda industry. And you know what it's being defeated by? Good old-fashioned water. So over the past year, sales of non-diet sodas have declined 2.2%, while diet sodas have declined 6.8%. 10 years ago, diet and non-diet soft drinks were the second most popular food item. Today, they've fallen to fourth place, behind sandwiches, fruit, and vegetables. And side effects of aspartame include headaches, mood alterations, hallucinations, gastrointestinal problems, and actually much, much more. This strikes me as really good. I think all this chemical stuff that we're putting in our body, that somehow in the 70s it became okay to put just this evil stuff. That there's some connection to Donald Rumsfeld and his family, that they sort of pushed this thing through the FDA in like '72. Yeah, water. Water's good for you, huh?
Finally, thank goodness.
Isn't that something?
It's just a basic knowledge would be that water is good for you. When you're drinking chemicals and you're nourishing your body with chemicals, you're not nourishing your body at all. But I think one of the things is people that drank diet soda for a long time were under the impression that diet soda is healthier because the sugar is bad.
Yeah.
So now all these people are receiving more information about diet soda really not being that healthy, so people are just dumping it. And in this particular article that you're referencing, they interviewed somebody who was at the gym and saying, you know, first of all, who chugs a diet soda after going to the gym?
Yeah.
But I guess they're making the point that people used to be looking for either sugary drinks or diet drinks as part of their health, you know, their healthcare type thing for themselves. They're just like, oh, I don't drink soda, I don't drink fruit juice, I drink diet, therefore I'm drinking nothing because of the 0 calories and the misleading, you know, nature of that. But now people understand, they just know better. How about that? We know better.
We finally.
And if you're drinking diet soda, you look like a weird. I mean, I actually think it also could be as much as thinking, what do I look like drinking a diet soda? And I think once you have more self-awareness, you realize, like, what does this even mean? What am I drinking? It just looks so outdated and weird and chemically and gross. I think people are just like, look, it's diet, ew.
Right. You know, it's funny. Remember the soda?
Coke?
Yeah, ew.
But you're a Diet Coke guy, right?
I love Diet Coke.
You love Diet Coke. So what do you think? You're putting all this
now.
stuff. You're putting this stuff in your body. Why are you doing it, Fred?
It's no worse than Coke.
Well, okay, so we can talk about, let's talk about high
it's-
fructose corn syrup just for a second.
Right.
So we literally are putting corn in our soda, as I've said many times, because sugar, if you buy Coke in America, is too expensive. So we put corn in our soda instead. As a matter of fact, if you want actual sugar in your Coke from America, you have to buy a Mexican Coke because they get the real stuff in Mexico. So it's you're saying it's a trade-off. What was it? Wait, what did you say?
They get the real stuff in Mexico.
They get the real stuff in Mexico. That's a whole. We'll do that as another topic.
Good for our Iowa corn farmers. I like that.
Yeah. So it's good for. So yeah, you're doing it for the corn guys. But really, so for you, it's a trade-off of the fat, and you're okay putting high fructose corn syrup, which is awful.
It's moderation, moderation, and fitness. And I think those are what's really important for healthcare in this country. And walk around, and you'll see that we're not quite following that lead. But I think it's important that people eat healthier, and it's very expensive. Are part of the problems. If you have a big family,
as people think. I
agree.
I will go crazy on this for anybody talking about it, because I have been in a position where I've been almost like dead broke and had no money, and I've been able to eat completely clean during that time. I think you can feed a family completely on that same type of money. I understand that it's 59 cents maybe to get McDonald's or get a burger, but there are ways to prepare meals for your family that don't have just MSG, that don't have high fructose corn syrup, that don't have all these things in them, and it's more responsible for your health, and it's not in moderation when it comes to putting chemicals that are actually poisonous in your body. And I'm not being hypocritical. I used to love Diet Coke. Diet Dr. Pepper was like my jam. Like a 32-ounce Diet Dr. Pepper from Circle K was like, like it was just the best.
Diet Pepper.
Yeah, it was really great, but I didn't feel well.
He was a doctor, so.
He was Dr. Pepper, I know. Yeah. But I mean, I had anxiety from it, and I did have like a little bit of stomach issues from it, and then I looked into it and realized what I was putting in my body and stopped. And I think that, I think people will be, there you go.
Fred
water.
Drinking Fred water.
I love that you carry the water with your name on it. I also like that it's flask shaped.
Yeah, that is very nice.
This is the future.
But it is not, it's a myth that it is more expensive. I think initially it might be because you might have to retrain yourself on how to prepare meals. You might have to figure out how to get your kids to like things that are associated with something they don't want to eat. But I don't think it is outrageously more expensive when in the end you have people with diabetes, when you have people that are so sick and can't even afford the hospital bills, with all these things that are becoming directly related to what people are putting in their body. I do think people can heal themselves through healthy eating, and I'm an example of it. So, and trust me, I love Taco Bell and I love all these things. I'm not saying people shouldn't have access to whatever. Eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
We should have access to soda. We should have access to fast food, access to whatever you want, but you will feel a lot better if you cut that shit out.
Yeah, and also, first off, McDonald's, there is no such thing as a 59-cent hamburger anymore. It is $1. And every time we do a topic like this, which we do a lot, that's what everyone says. Well, fast food's cheaper, and so if you tell people to cut it out, you're only hurting the lower economic people. However, for the let's say $7 that you can get a meal at McDonald's, like a number one or whatever, you could go to Trader Joe's and get a sandwich and actually a juice or a water. So I think that argument, I know it sounds good, and I know people are going to get pissed in the comments, but I think that argument sounds better than it actually is. Does that jive with you?
There are families out there with 5 kids that have a problem. When I go buy an orange for $1, I'm thinking, if I had a family to support, how would I do it? So there needs to be
I'm not saying it doesn't exist
in bulk where families can eat healthier. Michelle Obama's done, I think, a tremendous job in doing that and trying to combat childhood obesity by promoting healthy eating. Vegetable garden at the White House. There's a lot of symbolism going on, and it's very important if 318 million of us are going to survive that we become much more healthy, and again, moderation.
Yeah.
And you can have some treats. You can have that chocolate cake, but have a smaller piece and not doing it every night.
Yeah. I don't think the chocolate cake's hurting people as much as if the chocolate cake is made through chemicals. I think if you make chocolate cake with the ingredients that initially went into making a chocolate cake, you would have people that are healthy and eating a cake in moderation. I think when you're eating a chocolate cake that is not even food, you're going to be sick whether you have moderation or not.
Right, so bringing this back to diet soda, which is made with all this stuff, there's just going to be a certain amount of people that are going to do this no matter what, right? Like, is that just fair to say? Like, there's probably a good 40%, I mean, I'm pulling that out of thin air, that will just do it no matter how bad you tell them it is.
Sure.
They're just going to keep doing it.
Now there are alternatives out there too. When I was a kid growing up, there were not even any Mountain Dew then, I don't think. So now you've got a huge variety of healthier drinks that the soft drink companies are making. Look at Coca-Cola and Pepsi make water now, and flavored water.
And there's stevia, and there's agave, and all kinds of other sweeteners.
So there are choices.